The Serengeti is not just an endless plain, it is the stage for one of the greatest survival challenges on Earth. Every year, millions of animals set out on the Great Migration driven by hunger, thirst, and an ancient instinct that cannot be resisted. The ground trembles beneath countless hooves while the air fills with tension and unseen warnings. Here, survival offers no second chances. In the tall grass, watchful eyes track every movement. In the rivers, death waits silently beneath murky waters. A single moment of hesitation can mean the end. The migration is not a journey, it is a relentless trial where only the fastest, the strongest, and the most alert manage to move forward. Each sunrise brings new chases, and each sunset leaves behind exhausted bodies and lives cut short. In the Serengeti, nature observes without mercy or intervention. There are no heroes and no villains, only animals pushed to their limits by an unforgiving rule: move on or disappear. And as the herds press forward, one question lingers in the air. Who will be the next to fall, and who will survive to the end? February arrives and the Serengeti pulses at the height of the green season. Some animals move driven by hunger while others hold back in tense silence, preparing for journeys written by instinct and fate. A queen's crown is not forged from gold, it is shaped by sacrifice and scars. After giving birth, a lioness's body becomes an exhausted refuge. Yet the cry of her cub is a sacred summons. Still weak, she must endure relentless hunger to produce milk, the sole lifeline for her young. Worn down and injured, the noble queen survives day after day on scraps and carrion, turning leftovers into just enough strength to go on. When the queens can no longer hunt, the king is forced to step down from his throne of pride. The lion's fiery mane is a symbol of power, but also a dangerous liability. Its size and color betray him during an ambush, and the heat quickly drains his strength in a chase. For this reason, males rarely take part in endurance hunts. But when cubs hover on the edge of survival, everything changes. The males become living weapons. A young warthog is chosen the most accessible prey, one that demands minimal energy. In the dense brush, dominant males must show raw force. A coordinated kill unfolds a world without mercy, where the instinct of domination overrides the maternal desperation of prey. Elsewhere, hidden within tall, rain-soaked vegetation, life begins quietly. Raindrops cling to leaves as a zebra mother licks her newborn, removing flies and imprinting her scent into the foal's memory. On the savanna, slowness is a death sentence. Zebra foals are born athletes, able to stand within 10 to 20 minutes of birth. Biologists call them precocial, born with well-developed limbs ready to flee from danger almost immediately. They run on instinct, fueled by rich milk racing to keep pace with the herd. But danger does not always come from predators alone. Sometimes it wears the same stripes. In battles for dominance, the victor can become a tyrant. Infanticide is a brutal evolutionary strategy. No male wishes to raise the offspring of a defeated rival. Instead, he seeks to force the female back into estrus to pass on his own genes. Faced with such ruthless instinct, the zebra mother must silence her fear. In a land where life is paid for with blood, maternal devotion stands as the final barrier against selfish inheritance. As it is written, Love never fails. For wildebeest, the race begins even faster. While a zebra foal may have up to an hour to stand, a wildebeest calf has only minutes. During the Great Migration, more than 500,000 calves are born. Within a few short weeks, an explosion of life that draws predators from every direction. Minerals from the ash-rich grass strengthen the mother's milk-building bones for the newborns. But this nourishment also marks the start of a merciless trial. A wildebeest calf must stand within 3 to 7 minutes and begin running within 15 to 20. Only after moving can it nurse. Just 1 in 10 will reach adulthood. From the very first breath, every second matters, and survival demands speed above all else. April arrives and the rainy season slowly begins to fade. The grasslands start to thin, signaling a critical turning point. The migrating herds enter their final phase of preparation. Groups that were once scattered across the plains gradually merge, forming a single massive column poised for a long journey filled with uncertainty and trials. Zebras usually set out 2 to 3 weeks before the wildebeest. Their faster digestive system allows them to consume tougher, drier grass, and without intending to, they become the front line of the migration. Wildebeest follow behind, searching for younger, protein-rich grass better suited to their complex digestion. With sharp eyesight and keen hearing, zebras act as early warning sentinels, detecting danger and indirectly protecting those that move in their wake. By now, zebra foals are strong enough to match the pace of the herd, unlike young wildebeest calves that still struggle to keep up. The lioness, recovered from the physical toll of motherhood, turns her focus toward the front ranks of the march. Hunting zebras requires a different level of coordination than hunting wildebeest. A zebra does not surrender easily. A single rear kick can generate nearly 15,000 newtons of force, enough to shatter the face of any would-be ruler. One moment of miscalculation can turn a hunter into prey. This is why lions rely on cooperation. Without the strength of the group, no cub would survive to carry on the lineage. Here, the line between triumph and disaster is measured in a single blow. In the realm of shadows, silence is absolute law. The leopard moves like a ghost, a solitary predator whose power lies in patience and perfect camouflage. For him, zebras are tempting targets, predictable paths near water, and powerful bodies rich in reward. Yet he avoids fully grown adults. Instead, his focus narrows to the most vulnerable member of the herd, the foal. Before the migration intensifies, zebra mothers guide their young through shallow water crossings, preparing them for the dangers ahead. On this day, maternal instinct confronts predatory hunger. The leopard avoids prolonged fights. His survival depends on a swift, flawless strike from the darkness. But this time he fails. The courage of the zebra mother breaks the ambush and forces the hunter to retreat. Still, this is only the beginning. The journey has just begun, and the Savanna has many tests yet to come. Unlike the striped tide of zebras, the world of the wildebeest briefly comes to a standstill during the mating season. When a calf reaches around 2 months of age, the female returns to estrus, igniting intense rivalry among adult males. From an evolutionary perspective, this is the final gamble. With migration looming, the window to reproduce is closing fast. Males bellow loudly, strike the ground with their hooves, and flick their tails in bold displays of dominance. Every movement is a public performance meant to impress. Here, patience outweighs speed. While the males posture and clash, the females remain watchful, lifting their senses toward the sky. They detect the scent of rain drifting in from the northwest. The first distant showers end the brief season of courtship and trigger a journey from which there is no turning back. Once the signal arrives, the wildebeest have no choice but to move. They can sprint at speeds approaching 80 kilometers per hour and typically travel between 8 and 15 kilometers a day. Zebras capable of running up to 65 kilometers per hour slow their pace to stay ahead as scouts advancing carefully with frequent pauses and covering roughly 5 to 10 kilometers daily. After these two vast armies pass through and the grass is cropped down to its roots, the final participants appear, the gazelles. Gazelles wait patiently for the savanna's gardeners to do their work. Shortened grass reveals tender protein-rich shoots and, just as importantly, clear sight lines. With the land opened up, danger can be spotted from afar. They move in groups of 10 to 50, light and fast like arrows, drawn tight on a bowstring. Yet among rocks and shadows, a predator is already watching. All it takes is a single moment of disorder among these masters of speed. In the dust clouds of the Serengeti, an evolutionary paradox is revealed. A gazelle can approach 100 kilometers per hour, nearly twice the top speed of a lion. But in the game of survival, raw speed means little against patience, positioning, and surprise. Low grass as cover, the predator closes the gap and strikes with explosive force. Even with sharp turns and powerful leaps, the gazelle can fall to brute strength in a perfectly timed ambush. After hundreds of kilometers beneath the burning sun, the three great travelers of the migration face their final ordeal, the Mara River. Here, danger waits beneath opaque water. When a wildebeest mother plunges in, she opens a path written in risk for the next generation. She challenges the current and fate itself, offering her calf to the laws of nature. Below the surface, Nile crocodiles wait for the smallest mistake. If the calf reaches the far bank, life asserts itself through courage. In the race to exist, not all make it to the other side. Zebras swim with confidence, shielded by thick skin and kicks powerful enough to break jaws. Even so, the oldest crocodiles wait for confusion. Zebras and wildebeest know the river well. Gazelles do not. They fail to sense the threat below. When the lead animal enters the water, instinct pulls the rest into a deadly trap. Within minutes, more than half of a group can vanish. Speed does not always save you, but hesitation is an open invitation to the crocodile. This is the rhythm of the Savanna. Those who continue forward do so under relentless pressure. Of the 1.3 million wildebeest that leave the Serengeti, only a fraction complete the journey. Hundreds of thousands fall to exhaustion, illness, or predators. And the smallest travelers, like the gazelles, pay a heavy price to keep the continent in balance. When hooves finally touch the far shore, the herd believes the green hell is behind them, unaware that the struggle is far from over. But in the Masai Mara, salvation proves to be a cruel mirage. Lionesses turn the crossing points into true feasting grounds, exploiting the extreme exhaustion of the prey. Zebras advance tightly packed, pressed against one another like a living shield, blocking access to the strongest individuals, still heavy with muscle and speed. Nature, however, grants no mercy to those who fall behind or carry wounds. When the line between life and death is drawn in pain, the victor's crown is stained with the blood of the stragglers, as written in Matthew 24:13, but the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. goal of this journey is not measured in kilometers, but in the silent faith that burns through countless trials. The Mara reaches its most intense chapter when the massive wave pouring in from the Serengeti spreads across its plains. It is also the moment when the queens of speed bear the full weight of motherhood. Raising cubs in the middle of the migration is an unforgiving equation dictated by nature. Mothers must secure food for the next generation. To reach speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour, the cheetah sacrifices defense. Her body becomes a purely aerodynamic machine, an oversized heart, powerful lungs, and a spine flexible as a spring. But that speed can only be sustained for less than 30 seconds. Oxygen runs out and the body overheats. During the migration, every burst of acceleration is both a hunt and a shield for cubs hidden in the grass. And just after victory comes the most dangerous moment of all. Exhaustion opens a crack through which death can steal everything. Beneath the eyes, a black stripe acts as a natural filter, reducing glare and allowing the cheetah to lock onto its prey under the harsh daylight. Every feature of her body serves a single-purpose pursuit. But before the explosion of power, everything begins with waiting. The hell of speed is unleashed when this land torpedo reaches 100 kilometers per hour in mere seconds, faster than many sports cars. If contact is not made within roughly 300 meters, the strength fades. The hunt ends when the claws take hold and the bite closes the trachea, plunging the prey into a final sleep. After triumph comes the fatal gap. The cheetah family must feed quickly before other predators arrive to steal the kill. In the world of speed, the distance between victory and total loss is as fragile as a breath. While the solitary female bears the crown of motherhood elsewhere on the savanna, alliances of males establish their rule through the power of teamwork. This time the target is a wildebeest, a mass of muscle 3 times heavier than the hunter. Alone, a cheetah would avoid such a risk. A single kick or mistake would be enough to seal its fate. But in a group, the males know how to advance against the wind, hide among bushes, and erase their scent and breath. When the moment of attack arrives, even then the alliance feeds quickly on the most valuable parts and withdraws, returning the rest of the body to the savanna. The cheetah does not use her slender body to fight, only to secure survival. Meanwhile, the first cubs of the litter begin to grow and hunting lessons commence. The mother, patient and resolute, chooses the most demanding challenge to teach them the zebra. In this race, boldness sometimes drives the body beyond its own limits. The zebra is far stronger than the cheetah, even though it reaches only about half her speed. A single kick from its hind legs is enough to turn glory into a slow, devastating agony. The cheetah's skull, built from thin, lightweight bones, exists solely for running. An injury of that kind is an irreversible sentence. Like Abraham, who once dared to offer Isaac's sacrifice for the future generation, is a sacred principle etched into every footprint of the herd. The savanna's unrest would be incomplete without the presence of the spotted hyena, the true force of the night. When the Great Migration fills the plains with life, these predators do not rely on leftovers. In many regions, the vast majority of their diet comes from active hunting. An unusually large heart fuels their remarkable endurance, allowing them to pursue prey over long distances until exhaustion decides the outcome. Ruled by a rigid matriarchal hierarchy, hyena clans use the movement of the herds to strengthen their control. Amid constant motion, they function as nature's final arbiters, maintaining balance with a persistence that is both efficient and unsettling. Beneath the blazing skies of October, young wildebeest begin to show the strength gained from weeks of travel. Yet the trials are far from over. The nocturnal hunters return, testing the limits of the herd once more. This time, instinct is misjudged. A wildebeest mother stands her ground, turning fear into decisive action to shield her calf. In the shallow waters, power shifts unexpectedly. The encounter becomes a lesson written in force and resolve. Even the most dominant predators can be challenged when maternal instinct takes command. Across a landscape of red dust and restless rivers, size alone can become a disadvantage when confronting a defender with nothing left to lose. The spotted hyena is relentless but also adaptive. Learning from failed attempts, the leading females summon their clan with sharp calls that echo through the night. Strategy replaces haste. Instead of confronting strength, they redirect their focus toward vulnerability. Their attention settles on an aging zebra slower than the rest, struggling to keep pace with the group. When the circle tightens, the outcome is swift. Rather than a single decisive strike, hyenas rely on coordination, attacking from multiple angles to neutralize movement and resistance. It is an efficient, calculated method shaped by survival rather than spectacle. They feed quickly, maximizing the opportunity before competitors arrive. On the open plains, hesitation can mean loss, and caution is as vital as strength. Far to the north, beyond these dramatic scenes, lies Etosha National Park in Namibia, roughly 500 kilometers from Windhoek. Spanning about 22,270 square kilometers, it stands among Africa's largest protected landscapes. This vast sanctuary supports extraordinary biodiversity with more than 100 mammal species, hundreds of bird species, and a wide array of reptiles and amphibians. Etosha remains a living stronghold of sub-Saharan wildlife, where the rhythms of survival continue to shape life on a grand scale. All of these animals are finely tuned to survive a semi-arid climate shaped by scarcity and seasonal water. From May to October, the dry season tightens its grip on Etosha. The vast Etosha Pan loses its shallow waters and transforms into an endless expanse of cracked white salt glowing beneath the relentless sun. Year after year, the same test of endurance unfolds, governed by rules that nature never negotiates. With no alternatives left, herbivores are forced to gather around the few remaining water sources. In doing so, they step into a moment of unavoidable vulnerability, offering predators an opportunity the savanna never fails to exploit. Massive in build, standing up to 1.5 meters tall and weighing close to 100 kilograms, the black rhinoceros is anything but an easy target. It carries two horns that grow continuously throughout its life. Essential tools for defense and for dominance, battles with rivals during moments of tension. Despite its name, the black rhino's skin is not black, but gray, often stained brown after wallowing in mud. Its diet consists mainly of shrubs made possible by a prehensile upper lip, flexible and precise, like a finger, allowing it to select the most nutritious leaves. Much of its water intake comes directly from vegetation, enabling it to survive several days without drinking from open water. Across the parched plains of Ocauquejo, the ground trembles beneath the steady march of blue wildebeest. Standing around 125 centimeters tall and weighing roughly 200 kilograms, these antelopes possess powerful muscular bodies. Their coats appear silver gray, reflecting bluish tones in the sunlight, accentuated by a dark mane and a thick beard along the jaw. Despite their heavy appearance, they are far from slow. In moments of danger, they can sprint at speeds approaching 80 kilometers per hour, a critical advantage in a landscape where predators are always nearby. Blue wildebeest live in herds that range from a few dozen individuals to vast assemblies numbering in the thousands. This strong social structure defines the ecological character of Ocauquejo. As specialized grazers, wildebeest focus on short grasses that regenerate quickly after rainfall. Their digestive systems are adapted to process tough, low-nutrient forage, giving them a clear advantage during the long, dry season, when vegetation becomes scarce and less nutritious. During these harsh months, artificial water holes become true lifelines. Wildebeest visit them daily, usually at dawn or dusk, to avoid extreme heat. When temperatures climb beyond 45 degrees Celsius, the air grows heavy and still, and small groups approach the water, cautiously spread out and fully alert. Watchful eyes, raised ears, subtle tail flicks, and low grunts form a silent language that holds the herd together in a state of controlled tension. Their sheer numbers and constant movement in search of fresh grazing prevent plants from overgrowing or aging. Continuous grazing encourages new growth, allowing the land to renew itself after each rainy season. As a result, countless smaller species from insects to birds benefit from this simple yet powerful process. They thrive within a more dynamic and resilient ecosystem that wildebeest help maintain. In Etosha, migratory behavior still exists, though increasingly constrained by shrinking space. As herds become confined to smaller areas, a gradual decline in genetic diversity begins to emerge, revealing another quiet challenge in this fragile balance of survival. The decline in genetic diversity poses a serious challenge for the future of the species, limiting its ability to adapt to environmental changes such as prolonged droughts and an increasingly unstable climate. Reproduction remains closely tied to seasonal cycles. Mating usually occurs after the rains, when fresh grass briefly blankets the land, offering the next generation a stronger chance of survival. Moving alongside the wildebeest herds, the plains zebra is a constant presence on the landscape. Its bold, black and white stripes are unmistakable, and no two individuals share the same pattern. Each is as unique as a fingerprint. The Serengeti draws its story to a close in an unsettling silence, where no victory lasts forever and no defeat is final. After every breathless chase and every river crossing charged with danger during the Great Migration, life presses on, paid for with sweat, blood, and the bodies left behind. Here, survival is not a right. It is a reward claimed only by those fast enough, strong enough, and resilient enough to adapt to nature's relentless demands. The struggles that unfold across the Serengeti Plains are far more than simple hunts. They are an ancient heartbeat that has sustained this ecosystem for millions of years. Every step of the migration nourishes the soil, every confrontation preserves natural balance, and every loss serves a purpose within an unforgiving cycle. When one life ends, countless others are able to continue forward. This is the harsh, impartial law of the wild. Today, that delicate balance faces growing threats. Climate change, habitat loss, and human pressure disrupt age-old migration routes, forcing animals to fight harder than ever to survive. Protecting the Serengeti is not only about safeguarding wildlife, it is about preserving a natural heritage shared by all humanity, a place where life and death continue to write their story each and every day. If this journey through the Serengeti has allowed you to feel the raw beauty and true value of the wild, we invite you to be part of that mission. Like the video and subscribe to Beast Call Nature to keep exploring together the most powerful, authentic, and unforgettable stories of survival on our planet.